Hi Pediatrics Plus parents, I'm Allison, the social work intern up at the preschool, and I wanted to take a moment to share with you more information about some ways that you can make your time at home a little easier, because I know that even though a lot of people are headed back to school, maybe headed back to work, maybe you guys are incorporating preschool back into your lives, we're still spending a lot more time at home than we were before, and we want to help make that time as easy and as good as a family as possible. We know it can be stressful for the kids to be out of their routine, for you as parents to be out of your routine. But we want to make sure that we give you the resources that you need to make home time easier and more fun and enjoyable for the whole family. So today we're going to take a concept that is used in the preschools and apply it to home. So of course you've seen in the classrooms there are stations. So in your child's classroom, I'm sure you've noticed there's a station that has maybe a kitchen area, like a play kitchen. There's a station for dress up. There's a station for maybe a ball and a hoop. And each of these are physical spaces in the classroom where the children know what to do, know what kind of play will be happening in that area. Well, we can't really do stations at home, right? That's a little much to take on. But what we can do is we can apply the same concepts to our home. So having physical spaces that represent activities that we do, something that we do on a daily basis or on a regular basis, can be really helpful for our brains. This is helpful for our brains as adults and definitely for our kids to be able to walk into a room and know, I eat in the kitchen. So I'm walking into the kitchen and it's time to have a snack. Or I sleep in my bed. So I'm walking into the bedroom. It's time for a nap or it's bedtime. So what that does is it helps our brains not have to work as hard as we're going through the day. So physical spaces, preparing physical spaces to help our brains know this is what I do in this space, so that we're not having to work as hard, not having to put forward a lot of mental energy to decide what to do next or to complete tasks in that space. So that's kind of the idea behind stations and behind zones, which is what I call them in the home. So zones are exactly what they sound like, okay? You might already have some version of it. Like I said, we're all doing this on some level, having a physical space dedicated to a specific activity or task. But what I want to invite you to do is adopt zones in your home to make things a little easier. Specifically, zones would be for your child. So you can have a creative zone that is stocked with maybe just a few crayons, which you might have gotten in your kits from the school over the last few weeks as we've all been at home. They've been sending those kits. You can gather those crayons and have those, and the sheets for coloring, and that can be the creative zone. It's just one spot, a small spot in your home. You already have the supplies for that to set up a creative zone. If you have Play-Doh, add that to the creative zone. Whatever you can think of that will help your child be creative in that zone, that's one idea. You can have a messy zone. This one might require some supervision. You can have a tray that you do some sensory play with. Maybe we'll have a video later about that. But sensory play, so incorporating things like kinetic sand or rice or beans and different, or maybe a water messy play that you can do outside. This is another idea, but a zone that can tell your child, this is where I get to be messy and get that out of my system. And then today we're going to talk about the quiet zone, which might be a parent's favorite zone of all of the zones. The quiet zone is a space that you create to do quiet activities, and that can look different for every family. For our family, we love the local library, and even now our library is providing curbside pickup so that we can place holds on our apps on our phone and go pick up in the bag all of the books that we placed on hold. And so we're able to keep the books fresh. I highly recommend you do that. Check with your local library to figure out how to incorporate that into your quiet zone. Because if you always have new books available for whatever are the current interests, you're way more likely to actually have quiet time in the quiet zone. All right, so let me just show you the quiet zone that we've prepared in my house. And then afterward, I'm going to say a few things to help you kind of keep a concept of the quiet zone and free yourself from this expectation of the quiet zone being perfectly quiet, because we all know that might be unrealistic. All right, let me show you.
This is our quiet zone. All right, I'm gonna pan over here so that you can see. This is the couch I was just sitting on. This is our bookshelf and the space where you curl up for quiet time. So we've got a soft blanket, it's kind of cushioned. It's the softest one we had, and a few pillows. Any pillow will be just fine. And then we have a bookshelf. This is our library book corner where we have all of the books we're into right now. We're loving Bugs and Numbers and Trains at the moment. And then this is our board bookshelf. These are for younger kiddos, and then these are the books that we happen to own. I'm actually going to put a book out for my son right now. He's about to come and have quiet time.
Okay, so that's our quiet zone. I hope you liked it. As you can see, it's very simple. Those are pillows that I think they came from IKEA. They were $2. And that book came from the library. Our bookshelf, you can see a few parts of it are books that we own, but we have a whole shelf that's dedicated to those fresh library books. The quiet zone is something that when we introduced it to my son, it was like, I'm not sure if this is going to work for about a week. He didn't seem to understand that that's what the space was for at first. So I want to encourage you, if you start to do this and you're like, this is just not working, stick with it, okay? Model what it is. Model what you do in the quiet zone with your child. Go into the quiet zone with a new book from the library and read together during the first few days that you're trying to implement maybe a quiet time in the quiet zone. I highly recommend you stick with that. And the next thing you know, your child will know what the space is for. They'll be walking up to the shelf, grabbing a book off of it, and sitting down in the quiet zone comfortably. This is something that I did not think would happen. When I read about the concept of the quiet zone, I really didn't think we would be able to successfully incorporate it, but I know that it's possible for any child. I know that it can be a great tool for parents, especially as we're spending so much more time at home. So please try to implement zones to make life a little bit easier as you shelter in place, and start with the quiet zone because like I said, I think it's the parents' favorite. All right, I hope this helps, and I'll see y'all in the next video.